Where are you from, sir?
I am from Nigeria.
Ah, Nigeria, Uganda, Rwanda. Who said Africans cannot come together?
Africans are coming together. Africans are coming together.
Think of all the things, the struggles that Africa has been through, historically, and the role of the African diaspora. You think about the slave trade, you think about colonialism, you think about anti-apartheid. The African diaspora has played a central role in all of those struggles, a pivotal role, I'd say.
If you ask most people in the street who gives most money to Africa, they'll say perhaps the IMF, perhaps the World Bank, perhaps bilateral aid from the British government and other governments, or perhaps the NGOs. And that's not the truth. The truth is the people who put the most into Africa are other Africans. And that story needs to be told. And we are the only ones who can tell that.
I just cannot understand it. When I see a lot of businesses that are foreign owned, so we promote foreign direct investment, but we do not promote the capacity of the indigenous local people to produce and sell and generate income. This is what development is.
The basic aims of AD3 have always been about bringing together African organizations that are doing development work in Africa, allowing them to have a space where they can network, learn about each other. Africans tend to organize around identity, their village, their state, their ethnic group. So sometimes there's a tendency for people to look inward. I think AD3 brings all the different Africans together, and they can share experiences, they can network, and then also we can begin to talk about a way of moving forward on some of the issues. There is also another objective, which is to bring in some of the other stakeholders. We call it a big tent, where we bring in everybody under the tent and we can chart a way forward and address the challenges that Africa faces.
It's corruption. But I think that a policeman wearing a uniform, standing up, asking me for money, I would say no. But I think that the issue of poverty is why corruption is everywhere.
Africa today is being faced with the problem of trying to create the conditions to diminish poverty and ultimately eradicate it. There are a number of initiatives. Mainly there's a Millennium Development Goals, which is the United Nations quantitative, time-bound goals that have been agreed on by developed countries and developing countries to half poverty by 2015. One of the conditions, of course, for creating a situation where poverty could be half is, of course, human resource availability.
There's a very kind of popular phrase that Nigerians have, which is they say no condition is permanent. And basically, inside of that is built in the idea of constant change. And the world changes. 1,000 years ago, England was one place. Today, it's another place. In 100 years' time, it might be another place. The conditions that are creating change in the world today is globalization. You can't be, as Americans, subsidizing your cotton farmers, driving farmers in Mali out of business, and then expect them to sit in their villages and die. They're not going to do that. They're going to get up and go where the money is.
Many of us that are here also have a foot back home. For instance, the statistics that $1 billion US was sent home by Ghanaians to Ghana in the year 2003. Now, this is a people who have not just come to stay. They're here out of necessity because it's extremely difficult. Most English people only have to contend with living here.
What you're getting is a new kind of relationship where people are going back and forth. So there's a guy now, Yassine was saying, he's set up a business in New York, he's importing stuff from Senegal, and you know, through that empowering people in Senegal. He's spent 6 months in New York, spent 6 months in Senegal. So I don't think it's a kind of either or. I think sometimes it's about looking at what, having been forced to move, what then positively can you do to enrich both communities that you're in? And that's really for us the theme and the challenge of today.
And how have you found today?
How have I found today?
Yeah.
Today has been fantastic because not only are we promoting, but we're letting the people come to embrace the African craftsmanship.